Hey, it's Ethan here at eTrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Hollywood Rack's Destination E Hitch Bike Rack and how it fits on our 2021 Mazda CX-5. The Destination E is going to be really useful for those e-bike purposes. It's also rated for your motorhome if you want to use it in that way as well. It's a two-bike platform style bike rack capable of supporting two bikes up to 70 pounds. It's going to hold onto our bike primarily with this padded frame hook or frame clamp here, as well as three straps, one on the back, two on the front, so it's going to really do a good job of securing your bike. One really nice feature that this rack offers is the ability for it to tilt away with the bike loaded up, so we'll show you that first. Coming around to the back here, there's this knob here that you just loosen by hand until it's able to be pushed down, and then we can tilt the bike rack down. You'll see that if I let go, it stays up, so it actually helps us out quite a bit in getting that down, because it does tilt very aggressively, which gives us more than enough room to get to the back. Also, there's enough room away from the car. If I wanted to, I could sit down here, change my shoes or before or after the ride, get anything out that I might need for the ride. And tilting it back up, you can do it from behind as well, as long as you get enough leverage to pull it up. I will say with two 70-pound bikes loaded up, you might find that a little bit more difficult than I just did. Then we'll secure that hand knob down again, tighten it up. Now I want to point out another feature about this rack. This is a included but not integrated telescopic ramp. It's really nice and heavy duty. It's also wide enough to make loading and unloading the bike super easy. It'll just go on using these notches at the end. There's only one on either end. So it just fits in just like that. As I mentioned though, it only fits in one side. So it'll fit right here, and it'll fit in the back of the other side, but it won't fit on the other or that one over there. So you kind of have to be strategic as far as when you show up to the campsite, where you're parking, will you have enough room to load and unload it? As you can see for our case, we don't have enough room to get the bike unloaded with the ramp. So just kind of wanted to show you a little bit about how it works. In our case, I'm actually just going to lift it up because it's also not an e-bike. To get our bike removed, we'll first start with this strap in the back. Just press this gray release lever on the back side and feed the strap through. Then we'll come up to the front and do the same thing. You can see that there is also this rubber padding on the strap to protect the tire. So we have all three of those out. Before I get this clamp off, I do want to point out that there is a lock core on the front of it. So if you do want to lock that up, you won't be able to spin the knob and your bike will be secured to the rack. For our case, I'm just going to grab onto the frame of the bike, loosen this till the jaws let it go. And now you would normally roll it down the ramp if you needed to. I'm just going to lift it up and get it off that way. From here you can see the shape of the actual rack, and you'll note that it does angle down on either side. That's just important because it's going to help accommodate a couple of different wheelbases in conjunction with this front cradle of up to 50 inches in our case. I'll secure all these straps down, and we can talk about the cradles again. Themselves are able to support a tire width of up to 4.5 inches. I can also get this center mass out of the way. We'll first start that by undoing these rubber straps right here in the back, one on either side, and we can push these levers down and then fold the center mass down. It's likely those cradles will get in the way for you. You can just move them out of the way as you need to, and then we'll tighten these levers back up and put the straps back around to make sure that they are secure. And now we'll get a measurement just so we can see how much space we're adding onto the back of our vehicle. So from the bumper to the furthest point back, it's going to add on about 39.5 inches. So with that center mass folded down, it definitely does add quite a bit of distance to a back of an already decently long vehicle. As far as ground clearance goes, because it does angle down on either side, I'll measure it from over here. In our case, just about 15 inches of ground clearance. The CX5 sits a little bit low, but there's a pretty good rise in the shank, so I'm not going to be super worried about ground clearance or bottoming out as I'm driving. Another nice feature that the rack offers is the ability to fold up against our car to save a little bit of that space. So we'll start by undoing this pin, and you might have to lift up and down on the rack a little bit to slide, I undid the clip first, but you'll have to slide the pin out after that. And then we can replace the pin where they line up on the shank and the clip on the other side. Now we'll get that new measurement from the bumper to the furthest point back is only going to be about 14 inches now, so we cut our distance just about in half. But the trade-off there with this rack is that it is bulky. As you can see, our license plate is pretty much partially obstructed. There is a couple of windows where you'll be able to see it, so it's not something I'm super worried about. More so the backup camera. It's right here, and it's going to be pretty heavily obstructed, and you're definitely going to know that the bike rack is there. Again, there might be a few windows here and there that you'll be able to see through, but you're definitely going to see the bike rack as well. Doesn't come really anywhere near our taillights. You might be able to see the very top of the center mast through your rear window, but again, not too bad. As far as the shank goes for the rack, it is a 2-inch shank. It fits into our 2-inch receiver. It's held in place by this pin, as well as the lock that's key-to-like to that cradle lock that I talked about earlier. It's all secured down by this anti-rattle handle. You just turn that to tighten everything up. Makes everything really sturdy in the shank. We like to make sure that we keep it horizontally, just so if we leave it down, we're not losing out on that ground clearance. So that was overall just a look at the Hollywood Rack's Destination E. It's really heavy duty. I really like a lot of the features that it has on there. The ramp is really nice and robust, but you will have to remember to bring it along with you. And the fact that it only goes on one of each side does take away from that a little bit. So if you like the ramp, you might want to check out something like the Yakima on-ramp. Has a ramp integrated onto the rack, and you can put it on all 4 cradles. But if you like the build quality that Hollywood Racks offers, I personally really like the build quality myself. This again was just a look at the Hollywood Racks Destination E and how it fits on our 2021 Mazda CX-5.